Hi there, my name is Kay Moon and I'm a twin soul channel and Western astrologer. And this is a video about the new moon in Sagittarius of 2021 that occurred on December 4th and the solar eclipse in Sagittarius that also occurred on the same day. Before I jump into today's content, I want to just take a pause and share a couple of things with you guys that are really important to me. When I started this channel, I was just trying to get out of what I call twin flame jail. I was very heavy in the midst of the purification process, which I've covered in a channeled message, and the channeled awareness about what it meant to be a twin soul was coming in fast. And most days, I felt like a crazy person. I thought I was losing my mind. And this was hard for me because one of my biggest fears in life, which I think actually may be past life related, is to be institutionalized. I never want to be inside of any kind of institution for any reason whatsoever. And I'm terrified of it. And so when I was already clairaudient, but when the information started to come through about the twin soul experience, it blew my mind and heart wide open. It was, and the experience of really being an initiate as a twin soul, an initiate in love, it was soul shattering, as I know many of you can relate to. Sometimes I still do feel like a crazy person, but the heartache that I felt was lifted every time I shared what was shared with me here with all of you. I could breathe again when I let the light out of me and into the world. And it's been an extraordinary honor to discover that what my spiritual guidance team has shared with me about how to read the stars for twin souls, about the path, about how unique it will be from any other relationship or connection we'll have. It blows my mind that at this point, over 15,000 people have found this information useful enough for them to subscribe to this channel. I honestly have not fully digested it. And if I'm going to take a step further to be even more honest, I created this channel for very selfish and very simple reasons. One summer afternoon, on the roof of where I used to live, I had a rooftop garden. And one summer afternoon, I was in conversation with a friend of mine whom I'd known for over 20 years. And she was courageous and bold enough to reveal to me some of the experiences that she was having in her own life, and that she understood herself to be a twin. And when she shared those things with me, I got permission in that moment to share the channeled information that was coming through for me. And it was the first time I had spoken a word of it to anyone. And as I shared with her, I didn't feel the heaviness anymore. I didn't feel the trapped feeling. I suddenly felt very free from some of that twin flame jail feeling, that it can just feel like a real constriction if the energy gets stuck and it's not flowing through us. So special shout out to you. You know who you are. I would not have had the courage to share had you not had the courage to share with me first. And I made a deal that day with my guidance team. As a result of feeling so free, I said, I'm going to share whatever you tell me to share out here publicly on YouTube for whoever you think will listen to it, as long as I can get out of twin flame jail. And that week, I recorded the first channeled message that was given to me, and it worked. The heaviness kept lifting. And here we are, 180 videos later, over 15,000 subscribers, 1.3 million plus views on the channel content and counting. and most of it coming through Google search, knowing that people are actually trying to Google to understand this stuff, and then finding the things I have to share so valuable, or my guidance team shares with me so valuable, really blows my mind. Your likes, your shares, your subscribes, you guys write to me. I receive letters all the time. Okay, if you didn't share this stuff, I don't know where I would be. I think I was going crazy. But you guys liking, sharing, subscribing the way you do, you're letting me know that I'm not crazy. Together, somehow, we're making this insane experience on the intuiting twin side feel less insanity making. So many of you have shared your individual stories with me via email, and how the things that I've shared with you have kept you off the edge and made you feel at peace and allowed you to keep moving forward in your lives. And for that, I'm really grateful. For me, hearing what you've had to say and seeing the way you've subscribed to the channel, it's confirmed that these voices that I hear, they're not just for me, and that I'm not crazy for hearing them, and that all of it, everything that you've been through, that I've been through, it's heading somewhere good, even if we can't see it yet. So I've put together a small thank you gift to close out our 2021 together for those of you who are new to the content or who missed some of the content for this year. I've put together a small offering so that you can jump in and get caught up on some of the information. All of the content from Q&A with Kay from 2020 and 2021 and the Timing of Union workshop, the astrology workshop, I've made it available for you for a savings of 30% off just for this week. So let's have a look at that real quick and where you can find that, so that if you decide you want to jump in, you can do that now. The links will be just below this video. So Q&A with Kay, holiday special, 30% off, and it includes, let's just jump down here so you know what it includes. I removed the Q&A portions, but kept in all of the channeled guidance portions for you. So you'll get channeled guidance on the divine mirror patterns, on spiritual union, the roles of a soulmate, an ascension partner, having more than one twin, having a karmic soulmate, what that all means, sexual union. And as bonus content, I've included all of the channeled information from Q&A with Kay of 2020 as well. Welcoming your inner runner home, how to identify as the chaser person. I don't really like these terms, but I know you all understand them. How to identify how you in and of yourself are actually also running, and how to stop that so that you can integrate the love and the connection and allow it to anchor in the third dimension. We've got a session on speaking your truth versus authentically connecting. I hear a lot of people say, I spoke my truth to them and now it's up to them. But there's a difference between authentically connecting and weaponizing your experiences and feelings in such a way that it creates greater separation and silence instead of connection and intimacy. And we cover the difference and how to get into authentic connection when you have difficult things to share in this session. Intergenerational blocks. This is session 9 here, to love and to light work, and how to overcome those so that you can finally have that which your soul is yearning for, even if there's intergenerational trauma and blocks that are stopping you from exploring and experiencing that. And then finally, for 2020's Q&A with Kay, I had Lee of Relationship Reinvented join, and he did a special private coaching session for the members, which you can listen to there. All of this is available for you for 20% off. Q&A with Kay on its own, just the 2021 session sold for 177 USD, but I've removed the Q&A portions. Just the channeled content portion is available from 2020 and 2021 for 122 for you to take advantage of this week if you'd like to do so. And then there's the timing of union workshop, which was 77 USD. It's an intermediate workshop and it helps you understand exactly how to track and predict your union windows and how to understand what, based on what's happening astrologically, when the pull between you and your counterpart is going to be the loudest and the strongest, and when there's going to be some other planetary stuff happening that's going to anchor you deeper into union with self, union with the divine, or union with your mission or soul group. You'll be able to do all of this once you complete this workshop, but I will say it's an intermediate workshop. So if you don't know astrology, you may want to hold back on this one until you've got some basics down. Star School 101 will become available in 2022 again. But this is available for you, both courses, for the next 6 days until Sunday, the 12th at 11:59 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And then finally, if you want them both, if you're like me and you're like, no, give me everything, then you can get them both in one package. Again, the links are below this video. You can get both the timing of Twin Flame Union and Q&A with Kay and all the bonus content together when you sign up for both of them in this package for $177. I believe when you combine the total price of both of them, it was like $254 USD. So with the 30% off, we have it here. So all of that to say, it's a pleasure. It's been an honor to do this work with all of you. It's been a life-changing journey for me, no doubt, to realize what being a twin soul is all about and to share the channeled information that's arisen for me with each of you. And as we close 2021 and head into 2022, just know that, you know, in my heart, my gratitude is overflowing for the way we've been able to support one another through this journey. And I'm just praying for you and your family and your counterpart, that whatever the next step is, as we step into this new chapter, it's filled with love for all of us. Let's dive into the new moon in Sagittarius content, shall we? All right, this new moon in Sagittarius took place on Friday, December 4th at 2:42 a.m. at the 12th degree of Sagittarius. Let's take a look at how this energy impacts the twin flame, twin soul collective, shall we? Before I dive in, I just want to also say that there is a full kind of overview of how the Venus retrograde energy is going to impact us in the Lightworker energy update. And because Venus does represent our human feminine energy, not our divine feminine energy, it would be great to go have a look at the Venus retrograde portion of the Lightworker energy update as in companionship to, or kind of as a part of listening to this. All right, let's go ahead and have a look at the divine feminine first, shall we? Let me just see what my notes say. Yes. So this new moon and that we've got going on here in Sagittarius, I covered the overview of the way this super intense energy works in the Lightworker energy update. I'm not going to get into that here, but it'd be good to watch that. This new moon and eclipse energy, neither one of them directly aspect the divine counterparts, Juno or Jupiter. Neither one of them are directly talking to this new moon and eclipse, but this is still a very important new moon eclipse cycle for divine counterparts. And especially if you noticed any significant changes or challenges come up in your connection as we entered this eclipse and new moon cycle, you'll definitely want to listen to the Lightworker energy update, because I'm not going to get into the eclipse cycle on the whole here. I'm just going to talk about the movement of Juno and Jupiter specifically. Okay. This particular eclipse cycle, as part of the Sag-Gemini eclipse cycle that's now coming to a close, it's been in effect for a couple of years, brought major change, this eclipse cycle, for many divine counterparts. This is the second to last on this eclipse axis, Sag and Gemini. We have the final one next year before, and we've already moved into the Taurus Scorpio eclipse cycle, which is going to be huge. The last time we had eclipses on the Sag Gemini axis was 2011 to 12. When we understood that the Mayan calendar, long count calendar, was coming to completion and ushered in a new cycle. And in this new era, new energy was initiated at that time. So since then, we've been through a full cycle of eclipses. We went through Sag Gemini once, starting in 2012, and now we've just gone through Sag Gemini for the second time. Okay, so we're completing some things that opened up in 2012. We are now coming to wrap those things up at this time. If we look back at the energy of 2012, I've spoken to many twins and light workers who said that was right around the time they received their initial activation as a light worker or as an initiate on the path of love. That initial activation set about a chain of events that have kind of culminated between roughly, I'd say probably about 2017 and now. So the full set of intel about that eclipse cycle, the Sag Gemini eclipse cycle that's coming to a close now, if you're curious how this impacted you or your connection, links to the Sag Gemini eclipse cycle videos are below. Scorpio Taurus videos are coming out soon, so just be on the lookout for those here on the channel. But this eclipse cycle was a very transformative eclipse cycle for twins. It included the sign of the twins, here's Gemini, but also the ruling sign of divine masculine energy, that is Sagittarius. Divine masculine energy is Jupiterian energy. Jupiter is the ruling planet of Sagittarius. And we have eclipses that directly impact divine masculines linked sign, we have a lot of change coming in divine masculine energy. Okay, the Taurus Scorpio eclipse cycle is going to be very activating for divine feminine counterparts, as Juno, the divine counterpart of Jupiter, is the true ruler, as I read it, of Taurus and of Libra, by the way, as the rightful counterpart to Jupiter. Many astrologers have Venus listed as the ruler of Libra and of Taurus. However, the true ruler of this energy, if you look at the mythology linked to Juno and the mythology and kind of like the history of that mythology, you can see that she is a direct correlated link to both Taurus and Libra in the way that her energy operates and what she stands for. So we have a major transformative cycle coming to a close for divine masculine energy, a major activating cycle opening up for divine feminine energy with the Taurus Scorpio eclipse cycle. Okay, and so in looking at her first, here's what we got. She is at this time, at this lunation, speaking in harmony to Uranus, and that harmony is only going to get louder as we move through the month of December. She's going to move forward and anchor into that 11-degree mark in Cap, having that conversation there with Uranus at the 11th degree. She is also in a square to Chiron. bringing up all of the wounds energy, and she's in square as well to the shaman's asteroid over here, which a lot of people don't use, but I do. And what we have here is a T-squaring energy for divine feminine. She's down here at the fulcrum point in Capricorn, and she's got tension between relationships and all the lessons she's learned in relationships, and wounds and all the ways she's carried wounding. And the question becomes, will I or won't I? Do I want to be by myself, Aries? Do I want to be in a relationship, Libra? Have I learned enough to be in a relationship? Am I still carrying around too many wounds to be in a relationship? Will I or won't I? Will I or won't I? How do I do it? And so this, when you have that kind of tension pulling on the fulcrum point energy, it can create a paralysis for the planetary energy embodied in that fulcrum point, and that's divine feminine. There can be a stuck energy for her. And this T-square means that her work is to, I talk about this all the time, move into the sign that's conspicuous in its omission. So we have planetary energy activating 3 of 4 cardinal signs. We've got in Libra, cardinal sign Libra, we have Makemake, shaman's asteroid. In the cardinal sign of Capricorn, we have Juno, divine feminine. In cardinal sign of Aries, we have Chiron. The only cardinal sign that's not being touched by planetary energy is Cancer, and that is her relief point. That's her access, not access, access to getting unstuck. By moving into Cancerian energy and focusing on her emotional truths at this time, what are the emotional realities of the journey of having been activated as a divine counterpart? What hurts? Why does it hurt? Why does it still hurt if the hurt is old? When was the first time we felt that hurt? What are we learning? What are we doing about it? That's the shaman's asteroid and Chiron talking about it. Are there any intergenerational traumas or wounds that need to be healed or transmuted or forgiven? That's accessing that Cancerian energy about families. Where these traumas or pains are looking in the present, this Venus retrograde is going to bring it further into the light in between now and the end of February. Again, I highly suggest you listen to the Venus retrograde portion of the Lightworker Energy Update for this lunation so you can understand how that's going to work for you. It's going to bring it into the light so that it can be healed, but it will not be without getting stuck first, without being triggered first. And with every T-square, we do have a choice. We can get paralyzed in the fulcrum point energy, which is, attachment to divine counterpartship, attachment to being divine feminine, attachment to, well, I'm a twin and I can only be with my twin and this, that, and the other. Being really stuck and attached to that is going to keep us repeating and looping in pain cycles. Okay, we can get paralyzed here in the Capricornian placement, which is about trying to play by the old rules, making things that we believe, trying to make things what we believe they should be and shoulding all over the situation, trying to operate from duty or obligation or tradition, or trying to force a structure on a circumstance when it's just not time yet. Instead, what we are being asked to do, instead of being down here in Capricorn energy, is to let it all go and to get up here into Cancerian energy and to feel the feelings, to get clear about the thoughts that are creating the feelings. What are the stories we're telling ourselves that are making the feelings feel the way they do? Okay. Getting out of Capricorn energy, which is like, I must push this, force this into the third dimension, and into Cancerian energy, which is just hanging out with the feels. That's going to keep us from repeating old cycles in this circumstance. The alternative choice, like I said, is to be inside of Cancer. For resolution, being emotionally honest and vulnerable with ourselves and with other people, allowing that vulnerability to inform our actions. If I'm really being vulnerable here, what's the vulnerable truth that I'd rather not share, that I wish wasn't true? What's the vulnerable reality that I need to feel, that I could avoid feeling if I'm just trying to focus on putting structure to things, playing by rules, trying to get other people to play by the rules? This period of time really asks her to anchor into her feelings and her heart space and align actions with true emotions, not just our conditioned emotions or our wounded emotions, because there is a difference between true emotions in the heart space and wounded emotions and loops that we move through as we keep repeating psychological wound patterns. This is about being vulnerable and real about what we need with ourselves first, because we can't share with anyone what we haven't admitted to ourselves. And then having the emotional courage and integrity to reveal that to others and ask, are you willing to meet me here in this space? Can you share your feelings too? What are your feelings? Here's what I'm feeling. Can we be emotionally real with one another as part of a healthy relationship? Okay. This will also require a bit of Cancerian nurturing and gentle Cancerian mothering to move through as we unpack all of these feelings. Again, there's some intergenerational themes here that you're going to be looking at and digging out and excavating as you move out of the Capricorn energy and into the Cancer energy. And so just as an example, let's just say, right, that Juno, this divine feminine energy, is clinging on to having the structure of her divine counterpartship in the third dimension look a certain way. Part of what she's going to deal with as she moves into Cancerian energy is why she wants it to look that way, right? One of the reasons she may want it to look that way, where, I've seen this a lot. Capricorn's, not a lot, but I've seen it once in a while. Capricorn's a very traditional sign. She's in the sign of tradition there, where she wants to get married, have a house, have kids, have babies, and she wants to have a husband that takes care of her, and she's trying to get her twin into that role, force him to become that, force him to be that. And if he's not being that, there's all kinds of ultimatums and string pulling and manipulation. Again, watch that Venus retrograde video, portion of the video for the light workers. That will cause this whole situation to get stuck, to really become combustible, and for her to get trapped in the third dimensional energy. But if she leans into the Cancerian energy up here, what she's going to find is part of the reason she's clinging to that structure is because of wounds she may have had in her family dynamic, that's Cancer, where, maybe dad abandoned mom and just kind of disappeared one day, went to the grocery store, never came home. And then mom had to work a whole lot and was never available to be with her anymore after that. And so she's kind of clinging to this idea that she can't do that to her own children. And the only way that's going to be possible is if she's got her counterpart in a job where he's making all the money and is, providing for the household. There is a whole other world of potentials where both of them work. They both take time with the kids. She may even, after really tuning into her heart space, find that her light work is so interesting and engaging to her that she doesn't even want kids, but none of that is going to be possible until she unpacks the wounding and confronts what's in the difficult truths inside of her emotional reality as she lands in Cancerian energy. And as she does that, speaking with Chiron here and Shaman's asteroid here, and really assessing, this is what those wounds taught me, and here's what I can leave behind so that I can be in the emotional reality of right now. She may discover in her true heart space, actually, what she's really looking for is an opportunity to, maybe she doesn't even want to have her own kids. She might want to adopt. Maybe she was clinging to this other reality of circumstances so that she could repeat the old circumstance to bring it to resolution and closure, as opposed to laying it to rest so that she can have the freedom to be who she really is. So hopefully that example made sense. As we ascend into Cancer energy in our divine feminine energetic spaces, there will be things to confront. There's gonna be difficult wounds there to look at, but the only way forward, the only way to get unstuck, the only way to move our side, your side of the connection forward, especially if you identify exclusively in the polarity of being divine feminine, is to go there, look there, deal with it, be inside the Cancerian super emotional energy, especially if there's any family wounding patterns that need to be looked at this time. Okay. Okay. Like I said, this is going to require a bit of nurturing and gentle mothering to ourselves as we unpack all of these things. All right. Now, let's have a look at divine masculine side of the energy. There's Jupiter. Planet I read is divine masculine. We have a Mars square to Jupiter, 90-degree angle. We also have Jupiter in conversation with Eris in Aries here. Okay, with bisextile and trine the creation goddess right there. And this trine, all these planetary energies together, gives all of our divine masculine energy a willingness to fight for something, to create a different path forward. It can create a deep clarity about what we feel like we need, but never got, specifically in our work settings, our family settings, friendships, and romantic relationships. And this represents, honestly, a huge turning point in our internal divine masculine energies. We've been building to this all year. Since Jupiter and Saturn were in conjunction at the earlier point of the year, really demanding that we act in integrity, act in wholeness with our divine masculine energies, that we stop repressing them, shutting them out, shutting them down, splitting ourselves off to take care of other people. This whole year has been about coming home to ourselves and our divine masculine energy fields, okay? And so, interestingly enough, we had a taste of this energy more specifically at the end of July, but not as intensely as we're going to experience it right now. So, if there were changes in yourself and your connection at the end of July, you're going to start to see those resurface. And what's driving the changes? Think back to August and the kinds of things that happened for you in August. What was driving the changes then and what is driving them now is a motivation to take action to get your needs met. But it may start with a bit of victim mentality, a bit of resentment about where you have felt left out, where you felt like you've not been seen, where you felt like your needs have been ignored, where you have felt disenfranchised. The difference this time between now and August, the end of July, the difference this time is that it comes with a mental clarity. This energy comes with a mental clarity and it comes with communication. The truth is, we can't communicate with other people what we don't even understand and cannot or will not acknowledge ourselves. And so, what's nice about this energy is this mental clarity point is just going to get even clearer. as Mercury goes retrograde in a little bit of time for divine masculine energy around what is it that I need? Why do I need it? How can I express that? How can I create and align a life that allows those needs to actually get met instead of constantly being railroaded? Other people, I was telling a friend this a while back in terms of boundaries, right? The reason why people constantly ignore our boundaries and run right past them is because we're already ignoring them first. If we honor our boundaries, they have no other choice but to honor them. If we defend our boundaries, there's no way they can railroad them. So ultimately, this is going to be about self-love and communication, because the North Node here is hitting Taurus, even though it's a sensitive point. North Node is a sensitive point. It's not a planetary body. It's, if you put North Node here, and we've got Mars here with the South Node, this brings us a little bit of a T-square with Jupiter, divine masculine, as the fulcrum point. We've got 180 degrees here, and there's our divine masculine, 90 degrees from the North Node, 90 degrees from South Node and Mars, right? And anytime we have that T-square, the way out, the solution is to anchor into the sign that has no planetary occupation, and that's Leo. This Leo energy is all about sovereignty. It's about self-love. It's about creating new possibilities to solve our challenges in, ways that we may not have done before, creative brainstorming, creative action. So this is really a new energy for our divine masculine templates. This is the first year where we've seen, at least since I've been reading, such a huge demand on putting oneself first, on self-inclusion, on getting focused on not abandoning ourselves just to connect with or just to serve other people. And this is critical. This is a really critical part of union with self. It's this union with self is a precursor to any kind of union with mission, with soul tribe, with counterpart of any label, twin, soulmate, karmic, whatever you want to call it, right? This is a critical part, having this opportunity to be sovereign. And the self-loving pieces, the self-nurturing pieces, just as North Node gets into Taurus, is going to be a big demand for divine masculine energies. So this is good. Like I said, in the beginning, it may come out a little victimy, a little blamey, especially because we have Eris in such a strong conversation with Jupiter and Mars, in strong conversation with Jupiter at the same time. There can be a bit of a weaponizing of our emotions, as a way of catapulting ourselves or getting that engine running to standing up for ourselves. But when we start getting into the practice of standing for ourselves on a regular basis, there's no need to play the victim. We can get into the place of just owning what we need, what we want, and how we feel, without needing to shame, blame, guilt, cajole anyone else into getting it. Okay? Because we're acknowledging it. We get it. We stand for us, even if other people don't. So that's how the energy works for the divine masculine energy there. If you are curious about having me look at a chart for you, and you're not on my private list, I highly recommend you get on it, because there will be some opportunities through mini readings, single question mini readings between now and the end of the year for me to do some chart reading for you. Otherwise, the calendar is pretty much all the way booked up. And like I said at the start of the video, if you would like to take advantage of the special savings on Q&A with Kay and timing of union workshop video, you are more than welcome to do that. The links are below this video. Once again, I thank you so much for liking, subscribing, for sharing, and all the ways that you have supported this channel. It has meant so much to me. And I look forward to a very beautiful and blessed and loving 2022 with each of you. Take great care and bye for now.